verge of happening like we see in El Fasher every day. So first, let's be very clear. We have about a 3 or 4 week window where we have the right convergence of dynamics to get a peace deal. That will get much harder if the army stands in the way of talks or if the RSF shows up but not to negotiate in good faith. We have done a lot of work as the United States and others to change the political calculus in favor of peace if we get these talks together. But if we do not get a deal in the next few weeks, you will see more of these external actors make this situation far worse. And these are not countries that have the interest of Sudan at heart. In the case of certain actors like Iran, they would love to see a failed state. In the case of others, they're looking to poke other regional allies. It's not about the Sudanese people. And this is why we need the leaders of the RSF and SAF to think in terms of what's in the interest of the Sudanese people, because they're hearing a lot of things from the region for people that are wanting to play games with Sudan for their own reasons. We need those talks now, so that's number one. We hope the Sudanese people will continue to speak up as they've been doing for the importance of talks, for the importance of peace. Second, I do think the world needs to be thinking about a plan B, which probably is peacekeepers in some form under the African Union or the United Nations. I'll be the first to say there's not the political will for that right now, but we will need to start building some of that in a situation where the two parties are unable to negotiate a deal, because it shouldn't be the 50 million Sudanese people that suffer in the middle of that and suffer the kind of atrocities and famine that we see. So I think we have to start having some of those conversations as an international community, but there's no question that this war is solvable. This was a war of choice. This is a famine of choice. Men chose to create this famine. This famine was not created by a crop disease or by a storm or by a drought. This famine was created by men in the RSF who decided to burn crops and loot warehouses, decisions by the SAF to make it hard to get food and medicine to the most vulnerable people in Sudan. These are choices people have made, and they could make choices tomorrow that end that by getting food and medicine to all parts of Sudan in compliance with international humanitarian law. It was also a war of choice, and I know each side has their origin story of where it started, but both of their stories are about men making a decision to start this war. And those same men can make a decision today to stop that war. And I believe when they hear from the Sudanese people, as people have been speaking up with one voice about the importance of ending the war now and ensuring aid all over the country, there's at least some responsiveness from those leaders. So we have a window now, a short window, to end this through negotiations. We think that is very possible if we can get the groups committed to the talks. If that fails, I think we are going to have to be thinking about alternative options for how we protect civilians and ensure humanitarian aid access. And frankly, we're open to any suggestions that put the Sudanese people first.